So what we are doing here, we are bringing the big machines into very portable from rehab centers.
Oh my god, the auto reflux.
You're not doing anything, right?
I'm
So
not.
it's like,
It's
yeah, cool. And this is like so minimal,
why is this so strong?
so minimal. Like normal people will use this. Yeah.
That is
But if you tend to resist it, it's even better. You resist it, you feel like you're actually building your muscle. Like you're
so I don't need to lift weights
done
anymore.
it. So this is the same theory of a dumbbell.
Are you kidding me? Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the Mini CEO podcast. Today we have Catherine here from Remo, or she called it her company Silver Pulse.
Yep.
And we'll welcome her and briefly introduce yourself, please.
All right. So basically, my name is Catherine, and I am a student startup from University Malaya. So I am a second year biomedical student, and also in engineering. So yeah. So we have started this REMO, or we call it Reset Your Movement, or it can be remote rehabilitation, for almost a year right now.
Right.
Cool.
So when you call yourself Silver Pulse, sometimes I don't really understand. Is
True.
that the company name?
Yes, that's the company
And
name,
Remo is the product,
product name.
right? Something?
Remo. So it's like reset.
Reset
Yeah.
your movement.
Yeah.
Right. I only remember Remo, but not sure what is it. But so what makes you think of doing this startup?
Okay, so it was a year ago. I went to a competition with my team members. We never thought of doing this at all, but surprisingly, we won the competition. So that's where it validated our innovation, and we say that okay, why not we just try it out? But if it doesn't, we just go back to our normal life. But we never expected that we are right now a 8 times award winning innovation device. So that is where it leads us to, we say that we want to get this serious and we want to do this, and we see how far can we go. Yeah.
It just started from a hackathon.
Yes.
And what did you do with the hackathon? How different is it from that hackathon to Remo product right now?
It's a huge difference, I would say. I think all of us know pitching is about, the art of pitching is about changes, the improvement. So I do have a collection of maybe like 50 pitches on my end, from not understanding the technology all the way to today I understand the market. So understanding it as in like the clarity of the market size, how much that we need, and how big is our demand in the market. So that is a true clarity to us. Yeah.
Right. And have you, from that time onward, what kind of, maybe be more specific, like the validation? Is it like the judges love it, or the students love it, or the audience love it, something like that,
Okay.
that makes you wants to continue on? Is
I
it
would say it's the, first of all, the judges, because they are really well experienced in the market. So if they are, we are able to convince them, meaning we have a value to it. But that is only the other side. So the real point, the customers, is the most important. So we did a lot of validation in terms of primary market, secondary, tertiary, all sorts of market validation on ground, going into interviews, doing surveys, letting them trying the demos to see how they react and what is the conversion rate from it. So that is where we validate ourselves in terms of our technology and also our device. Apart from that, definitely our family and friends, even like you, it's all the support and also the motivation, the ecosystem that really validates that okay, we this is something fun and this is where we want to keep on going.
Yeah, that's really fun. Before this podcast, you let me try it. It's
Yes.
really fun. And do you actually count and actually, because as founders we
Yes.
know, someone tell us, hey, I love your product, or you're gonna be your first customer. Those kind of testimonial is really validating our idea, right? So what does do you actually put the numbers in, like count it every time someone give you feedback? Because I'm quite bad at following through this. Like it's not like, oh, 100 customer tell me they
Yeah.
love it. How do you keep track of that?
I mean, it's still tough if you want to quantify it like directly, but because we do, like, even for you and me, we do contents, right,
Yes.
daily, weekly, so that is where we slowly to get our own validation in terms of, okay, for example, quantifying it, like for example from our social media, even my social media, I may be small, like maybe I started out with like maybe 200 followers, but right now I can grow up to 500 followers in such short time. So that is where I feel like, okay, that's engagement. So you go and talk to them, like you personally DM them and asking them like, would you like to try? Then we drive all the way there just to let them try. And
Wow.
that is the validation that if they are able to like say that, okay, I want to try, so that's one validation, that is like tick engagement. But what's the conversion here is like, after trying it, can I buy it? Then it's like, wow, okay, meaning this is something that it's really motivating to see. Yeah.
You're really
Yeah.
on the ground running to your
Yeah.
customers directly and getting them to try. That is amazing. And you're speaking, you're still a student,
Yeah.
and are you still studying or you're graduating, or yeah, how is
I'm
that?
still far from graduating. I'm only on my second year. It's tough. I would say that doing balancing, I would say balancing my studies, keeping up my grades at the same time to manage this startup is not easy. A lot of people do ask us like, how do you manage your time? Even VCs, all this, they will say that, are you even really committed? This is the thing that people always ask us. But I would say that if we are not committed, we won't be like here right now, with, because we do have a lot of supports from the uni, from the ecosystem, even from the government
Yeah,
support. So that is where I feel like that pushes us
yeah,
to where we are. And that's where when I say university, because I manage my time really well. When on the day, during daytime, I do lots of classes. I go for classes, right? And at the same time, I do go for meetings. But nighttime, after 8 p.m., I manage my times in terms of doing like appointments, even sending cold emails. All this can be done during free time, which is at night. So that is where how I manage my time.
what about like actually studying beside going to class? I'm sure like classes are just classes. During my uni time, I also have
Yep.
to do a lot of studies on my own. Yeah.
I mean, that's why I say keeping up the grades is not really easy, but definitely it's on the way. How I study myself at home is when during weekends, like right now,
Yeah.
I will spend at least like, I will be really committed to spend like 3 hours a day just to study whatever that is necessary
That's good.
from each subjects. So total I have about 7 subjects right now. So I take turn, like, okay, this day I'm going to focus on this, focus on that.
Yeah.
So every day I'll just spend 3 hours.
Yep.
So that is really sufficient.
Yeah. As a student, right, when doing this startup, it's really tough to care about making revenue and also keeping up your grades, right?
Yep.
So, and when your brain, I don't know, because of Asian household, we all say that, hey, you don't get into relationship, don't get into making money until you complete all your studies. That's just the upbringing. Like the Asian household is like they spend so much money on your studies, they want you to complete everything and not be a dropout, right?
Yep. Yep.
It's really different from the West. So then it's like after I finish my study, I come out working. The brain switch to the making money mode, and studying is really doesn't align with each other.
Oh, yep.
I'm not sure if you feel that. It's like a different kind of left brain, right brain kind of conflicting each other. So do you experience that kind of like now you need to switch off your making money mode and into study mode?
I think not so for me, because I grew up in a family business. So all this while I've been doing helping out my parents since I was young. So in my family culture, there's no such thing of saying that Okay, you keep your left brain as maybe you're studying and all right brain. For me, it's like you have to have both at the same time. Um, so that's how I really work around my startup right now. But luckily, I do have my COO right now. He manages our day-to-day operation, so he will update me in terms of what's my cash flow like. So we really keep our cash flow really lean right now. Like for example, if we are able to do on ground, we do it ourselves. If we are able to do market content, we're doing ourselves,
Yeah.
even you also. So that is where it generates a lot of engagement,
Yeah.
and slowly you turn into conversion.
Right.
And at the same time, that is the part of the brain that you have to tell yourself that no matter what, you still have to make money for the company so that investors like it. You can sustain for another 10 years. And at the same time, again, like what my parents always say, you must always, when there's a will, there's a way, right? So if there's at least 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day, you're able to at least keep up your grade. You don't need to be four flats, but at least an upper, second
Yeah.
upper. Yeah.
That's great. That's great.
Yep.
How many founders do you have right now? I think you have a teacher you
Yep.
mentioned before. Is she also your co-founder or just two, like you CEO and COO only?
So yeah, we have a co-founder, which is my lecturer, and my founder, another founder, is my COO. So my lecturer, she is really in this space for at least 15 years. So with this, her 15 years of experience, we are able to be more confident in what we're trying to do, because she have really done all the validation in terms of research. We just have to validate in terms of the market presence, going into market. Just yeah, I mean, she's quite cool. She's quite
So
knowledgeable.
there's three co-founders in
Yeah, a
your.
total of
Okay,
three.
that's great. And you're making revenue already.
Minimal. So we just started our first version,
Mm.
I think 2 weeks ago. So we're able to convert about like right now about 17 to 20 orders.
17 to 20. That's great for a hardware. It's tough to sell, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's great with that amount. And so, are you bootstrapping or have you got any fundings already from
I
running
do
this?
have funding. So we do get support from CIP Spark, right, Cradle,
Right.
100K. And another way is to go to Hong Kong. We do have another grant from
Oh,
Hong Kong, which
right.
is about 100,000 Hong Kong dollar as well.
Right. The
Yeah.
one do you need to incorporate that? I think I saw that HKSTP
Yep.
incubation or
Yep.
the other one.
Ideation right now.
Ideation right now.
So yeah, we do have to incorporate a company there. That's where it's even validated us, because the aging population is actually quite huge in Hong Kong. So that's where we want to monopolize like both at the same time and see
Wow.
how does the market react.
Yeah.
Like in Malaysia versus Hong Kong, and see
Yeah.
how do they react. Yeah.
Yeah, that is so amazing. So, following all this acceleration or even like grants and
Yep.
something, I'm sure that Hong Kong one is also a grant, right?
Yep, it's a
And that is like helping you push forward into two markets at the same
Yeah.
time. That is awesome. And about your first version, let's try it. I think it's time for
cool.
product demo.
All right, so this is our first version that doesn't come with any sensor, but then it gives you the full NMES powered muscle contraction. So maybe let me try it on you. Okay, so a lot of people out there, right, do sell this type of device where you say that you can get belly, you can get abs. Okay, first of all, you don't do it on your belly because it's very crucial. You might get heart attack.
Right.
Right. So apart from that, the one outside in the market, they are only a pain relief device. So right now, I'm not doing anything. It's quite mild. You're not doing anything. So this is what actual muscle contraction is like. You are not, you're moving it involuntarily,
Yes.
right? So you'll be able to see that the muscle is actually contracting right now.
It's not me moving, I swear.
Yeah, so you see, this is the actual muscle. This is the single muscle called extensor digitorum to improve your wrist, and I would say dexterity.
Yeah.
So if you resist it, then you'll be able to feel like the strength is actually pulling it back here, and you're building it here.
Yes. It is really involuntarily
Yes.
contracting my muscles. Yes.
So 15 minutes of this is actually about 3 hours of a badminton session that I always use it. Yes.
So does it help with your badminton session?
Oh yes, it does, because I do go for what's a warm up session, right? So this is actually my warm up.
Right.
And nowadays, because we're doing startup, we don't have time for badminton. Like I don't have badminton session right now, right? So I use this. I just strap it on my hand, on my leg for 15 minutes a day, and it's okay.
Okay.
Even nowadays, if you're doing like you're working like 4 hours a day in the office,
Yes.
you need this, because every day when you spend like 4 hours in the office, you're actually reducing about 1% of your muscle strength.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. I'm sure there is also like I heard like female loses muscle faster than men,
Yes.
stuff like
And
that.
female tend to have water retention.
Yeah.
So this is actually the best kit for water retention. Yeah.
So it when it does the muscle contraction, it does remove those excess water. Does it?
Yes.
I don't know how body works, but
True. Yes,
okay.
correct.
Okay, and you say this is your first version.
Yes, so this is our first version that doesn't come with any sensor. But yes, we do have our second version as well. Our second version is up for pre-order. It's actually comes with an AI and also with machine learning and sensor data. Yeah.
Wow, that is great. And about this V1, how much is it and where can your customers get it?
So currently it's 799, and but we're doing a promo for early adopters at only 350 ringgit. And you can always get it from my website. It's called resetyourmovement.com. Yeah.
That is amazing. And is it only they can find it on your website? What about other social media?
You can always look for me on LinkedIn or even on IG, which where I'm really active. We do have daily contents there. If you need to know how do you improve your muscles, how do you identify your muscle strength, you can always look for my IG. Yeah,
Yes,
Kathleen. Yeah,
she is very hardworking, and we will of course attach your website and your contact info in this
definitely.
video at the end. So, what about your V2? What does this AI or machine learning that can help improve your version 2?
So, when it comes to data, right, we do collect lots of data from patients. Daily, we collect about like maybe 50 to 100 over data,
Okay.
but those are only raw data. So, we collect, like, for example, frequencies and also root strength. It's very scientific, but then it's just data. So, what can we do with the data is that we use AI, machine learning, by because when you before you want to use AI, you need to understand what's AI first, right?
Yep.
So, what we do here is that we get at least the same patient sets of data, like at least for 3 months. So that is where the machine learns how the behavior of the patient. So that is where we use that sets of data and machine learning, and in the end, we use AI to interpret the results rather than you going into physios and you going into doctors. Normally, they will ask you the first thing when you go to hospital, how are you feeling? So I always ask myself, I quite disturbed by asking this question, like how do you feel, when what if you can quantify the feelings by a set of data and AI to provide? Because nowadays, when you think about doctors, they do give you interpretation as well, like diagnosis and all this. But how accurate can it be? So if you are able to get your second opinion from your own AI within the app with the data that you have, wouldn't that be a validation as well? So that
Right.
is why we are incorporating that.
So, based on what I hear and understand what you have just described, do you use reinforcement learning for that?
Yes, definitely.
Because with that is what that machine learning is about,
Yep,
right?
yep.
They learn from your based on whatever
True.
your person body reacts and all that stuff, and then they kind of get it what to do with you. But and are you building an app for it once they so it's gonna look very different from this?
It's actually the same. So what it's different is that maybe the casing is a bit black, like a different version. This is white, so we will have a black casing for the V2.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But everything the same. You still get the electrode, you still get this, you still get the microcontroller. So
Right.
yeah.
And it just knows how basically, for example, how long
Mm.
does it get data, like how long the duration that you use it for a day or a session, and also does it know which part are you using it,
Mhm.
and also the strength of the device, like I'm always cranking it up to the highest
Yep.
volume, and so then it learns that what I use it for and how much I use
For
it.
our second version is totally different from this. This one you have to set manually, right?
Yeah.
So our second version actually it's really automated where it doesn't have all these buttons anymore. So what it does, the first thing they will do is it will detect your current muscle strength from the actual placement.
Oh wow.
Okay. So from the actual placement, then you the first thing they will detect what's your current muscle strength. And from the muscle strength that you have, it will determine how much of contraction that you need
Mm,
rather than you feel it and you get it. So this is really improved by your own current muscle strength. So yeah, that's customization. Yeah.
that is great. But does it know immediately, like once I
Yes.
buy it?
Yep, yep.
Oh
Because
wow.
there's a range. So for example, first of all, on the mobile app, you have to click what is the current muscle you're placing on the forearm. Then it's over here, right? So if it's on the forearm, then you place it. Then there'll be a range. So first of all, before getting to know what is the current set of your data, he will use the most generic one based on your BMI,
Yeah.
your I would say your
Mm,
dietary and all this, then you will get a range. From that range, you use it
mm.
continuously for at least 10 times. Then from there, the machine learning slowly comes in. Yeah.
Wow, that is so awesome.
Oh, no.
That is very awesome, actually.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
And I hope your we too gonna launch soon. Is it?
Yes, we've already get some pre-orders. We have about 25 pre-orders right now. We're trying to launch it on Kickstarter to see
I think
how
that's a
does it
great idea.
look like, because that is a response from a lot of actually a lot of
People who
VC.
are interested in
Yeah,
gadgets
yeah,
as
yeah.
well. Yeah,
Mm.
and I saw on Kickstarter there's a lot of biodegradable machines where
Mm-hmm.
you put your food waste in and then it just turn into like organic
Wow.
soil or whatever. And there's one crazy one. Sorry, sidetrack a bit. Is like they are selling a pot of plant, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not normal plant. Is where you put your urn into the plant
Uh,
and grow a tree.
it's interesting.
It's like yeah, after you pass away you got
Yeah, yeah.
cremated and then that ashes you put into
It's like
planting a
from the ground and you're
tree.
bringing it back to life.
Yes, yes, that is something I saw on Kickstarter. I'm sure, yeah, you can test it
Yeah,
out
we
and
could
see.
try out, like it's a reward base, right?
I'm
So
not really sure, but I thought people actually pre-order from
oh.
it and you get the money to
Mm-hmm.
build it.
Yep.
Actually,
Yep.
that's what I saw.
Mm.
And you say there's a lot of VC on it.
Yeah, yeah. So a lot of VCs like approach when they will say that your device is actually more towards Kickstarter,
Mm,
ECF. So we are actually trying to explore
right.
to see how when we try it, then we will know the results and also whether it is workable or not, right?
Yeah.
So we just have to keep on trying different thing. As a startup, it's always like this. Yeah.
All right, that is amazing. And I actually I know you're since now you are using reinforcement learning
Mm-hmm.
about machine learning and AI. What do you think is the learning curve for reinforcement learning is like? I want to share to the audience because I don't think the in Southeast Asia
Yep.
a lot of people know about reinforcement learning.
Yep.
And when we go to technical events like the Google Cloud events, the AI events
Yep.
locally here in Malaysia, people just talk about mostly Gen AI or
Oh.
generative AI or
Yeah.
just using API to
Yep.
connect
Yep.
and use AI. So maybe share from your experience since you're a student. We wanted to do something like a reinforcement learning club.
Yeah. Wow.
Basically, it's like
Amazing.
we wanted to call it. Oh, because I just came back from Canada,
Mm-hmm.
we wanted to do something like a RL club so
Mm-hmm.
that you can use RL to train some games characters
Mm-hmm.
that they can be rewarded or be punished when they try to like playing tag or hide and
Yep.
seek.
Yep.
These characters in the game can actually be trained with reinforcement learning, and then they can try to hide in a very weird way and then
Mm-hmm.
in a very controlled environment. So wanted to do like a games night with RL and who train their characters better. But I think it's really tough to do it here since not everyone knows, and the learning curve is pretty steep,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Mm.
Can you share your
I
experience?
think reinforcement learning is actually not so new in Malaysia. I would
Mm.
say it's because it's at the research stage.
Mm.
Because when I was in university, right, when I'm still in university, so last semester, we do have those internship under my lecturer.
Mm.
So lots of project is actually using reinforcement learning, but it's because due to it's only a research and because the set of data are not enough. That's why you're not able to have it on the market. You're not able to commercialize it. So that is the reason. So I would say that it takes time. Originally, if you want to have a very solid reinforcement learning, especially for a product like this, you actually need 10 months of uh, a sets of data that is actually 10 months in
Right.
order to get it very solidified. So, for example, you have to use it continuously for 10 months. Only there's only,
Exactly.
yes.
Yep.
So, that is, I would say that because it's not consistent, the piloting projects are
Yep.
not consistent and not enough data. So, that's the reason why I feel like it's not par.
Yep.
And that is actually the best AI, I would say.
Mm.
Like machine learning, when you talk about machine learning, that is always the best because everyone has its own character, everyone has its own behavior, and like even for your health,
Yep.
you have your own sets of genes, your own sets of maybe dietary, right? So that is where I will feel that machine learning should be based on you and yourself rather than Gen AI. It's based on
Yes.
prompts, based on generic ones.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I totally agree on the use cases, like you said. But because I think from your student interns club or all
Yep.
those using reinforcement learning as a very research base,
Mhm.
what I wanted to do is more like using it on Atari games or like games like maybe Tetris, like it's self play
Uh-huh.
Tetris,
Yeah.
or self play those self driving games like there's a Gran Turismo, those kind of games where you have to beat the AI, which is the AI is driving a car and you have to
I
race with
think
him.
it's possible.
I wanted to do those more fun
Yeah.
instead, more like research kind of.
I
Yeah.
think if you were to approach any university students, like there's like for UM alone, that's about like 3 to 4,000 per batch of students. I think there's something they would want to keep their minds up, even for kids nowadays.
Yeah.
STEM, right? Because they want to keep their brains more active. So
Yeah.
I think this is very good. I would call it the right brain activated, not the left, but the right, because it's all about a lot of impromptu learning. So I would say this is something fun.
Yeah, but I think I have not like I mean we're working adults, we have no access to that kind of, and I wish if I could do something like that for this, the Malaysia society have an event, something like that.
That would be fun. I think it will be packed. I would say really for real.
I just couldn't find people who have the skills to or basic learnings about RL here.
Mm.
That's maybe we can talk offline later.
Sure, sure, sure.
Yeah, but so far as a student startup founder, your challenge um during this journey, is there a lot of people doubting you,
Oh,
and not just not the whether it's students, I mean your teacher or parents about your study grades, but the outsider,
mm.
like people seeing you as a student selling a gadget, Like, what do they think and doubting?
I think definitely there are lots of doubts. Not only because I'm a student, but because first of all, student, and you're young, and are you even capable? Like, are you really committed? So there's a lot of doubts from the industry, from outside, from even your parents. But if I've always believed that if something is so important, no matter what's the outcome, what's the results, even it fails, but at least you try. You at least try at least 500%. So that is, I would say that that's the mindset you have to hold every day. We do have lots of doubts. Like do you realize that whenever you, as a startup, every step you go, there's a like a roadblock ahead. Like you don't know why. So that's the thing that me and my partner, we always constantly telling ourselves like, okay, it's okay, it's just a roadblock. We just have to like solve it one by one. You just have to have a positive mindset.
Can you describe what kind of roadblock you're facing, if you don't mind?
I think it can be like a simple, like, let's say, supplier, right?
Oh, okay.
Okay, then another one, your cash flow. That is the most hated thing for a startup, right?
Okay.
And apart from that, it can be manpower,
Right.
because when you expect something, then something doesn't happen as you plan. So that is also another roadblock. And also definitely IT. IT is always the biggest headache where you have bugs. Because we deal with data and all this, all this. So along the way, there's always this type of thing. Then you would tend to say that, is it even worth it to do it? Right. But when you have that mindset, then you constantly reminding you and your co-founders, you will have to say that, okay, if something is so important, just always remember why we start this. So we started this because we want to see how the market feels, and we started this because we believe that aging population is rapidly increasing, and we also believe that if this can help a lot of people, it also actually gives a great feedback to us as a person that you're actually helping yourself.
Mhm.
So that's the reason.
That is great motivation for
Yeah.
you to keep moving on. I'm sure actually roadblocks, of course we feel it as well. I mean, for doing AI startup.
Mhm.
But maybe we just look at what's most important to prioritize.
Yeah.
Like how urgent is this? I'm sure it's still in the early stage, but when it grow up to like making a lot of revenue and then it's suddenly out of stock, like
Oh.
supplier is blocker there, I'm sure that effect is bigger
Mhm.
than when it's still new. So maybe now is the best time to like lay out the processes and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's
True.
always time. I know being a founder is like always rush. You're feeling rushed doing this, everything's like top priority.
Yep.
But now I learned to take it at- like yeah, basically learn to prioritize what's most important
True.
first, and then that will help you. I'm sure you're doing a lot of things at once, and I hope you don't get burned out, because once you get burned out, it's harder to recover.
Yep.
I
True.
feel.
I
Yeah.
mean, whenever I see you, like even during the program, I from the beginning I don't understand, like, how can you as a startup be so chill? But now I understand you're moving towards the right direction, because when you are moving the right way with that mindset, it's actually quite peaceful and fun. So I feel I always have this strong aura vibe from you that, hey, you should chill and stay back, do whatever that you like, so
No,
that's
I'm
good, that's
not
good.
like that.
You look damn chill. That is where, like, I feel like, oh man, I always tell David that you are one of the inspiring startup.
Oh my
Really, I'm not
god.
kidding. Yeah.
I have other people who inspire me as a startup, but thank you. I can give that to you. I mean, I don't always chill, but I think David, as my co-founder, you know him. I think he's the also he has more experience than me.
Yep.
He's a third time founder right now, and I'm just a first time founder. So I think that experience actually give me more confidence where which direction to go. And then I just like go. So basically I'm the doer and he's the brain, like the captain of the ship.
Same like my startup as well. I do have a brain of the startup,
right? And this your lecturer,
no, my
your
COO,
COO,
yeah.
right?
So he manages like all my risk mitigation. So he said,
Yeah.
like, Kat, you should not do this. You should do this,
Yeah.
So he manages. So because he has the experience, so I'm like, okay, cool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That is what a doer really needs.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure we are the face of the
Yes.
of our company, and it's just you cannot think or strategize that much when you're actually doing.
Yep.
Right?
Mhm.
We have to prepare for our pitch, we
Yes.
have to do this, we have to meet customer, we have to talk. And there's a brain at the back is always making you feel safer to
Yep.
do whatever.
True,
right?
true. You
Yeah.
feel like whatever you do, there's a backup plan because it's already the risks are all mitigated and the processes are like you know what's gonna happen because at the back of you there's someone like helping you,
Telling you.
manages
Yeah.
you and all this.
I don't think one person can do both.
You cannot.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Cannot. Definitely.
that is great. I'm happy for you having a left hand person or right hand person to help you. That yep. And yeah. So, what kind of a support do you want to tell the audience when you're doing this startup? I think anything like looking for VC introduction, for funding, for customers to try, or more followers on your channel.
Oh, I would say that everything, but then I was like maybe keep it like one or two. Definitely, I'm currently fundraising, 400,000. Why not that much? Because I just want to accelerate into market entry. That's the first thing. And apart from that, if any out there, if you have communities or you have any friends that is in rehab or physios, you can always contact us and definitely watch my day-to-day vlog as well.
I will link it down below in this video.
Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine, so
Thank you
much
so
for
much for your
joining
time.
me. Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.